There we go. How's that? Morning, everyone. Call the meeting to order. Ask everyone to please rise for the singing of our national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. All right. Item 1.0 on our agenda is additions. Any additions? Seeing none, take a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Councillor Long, all in favor? That is carried. Item 3.0 is corrections or amendments to the June 7th regular meeting and council minutes. Any corrections or amendments? Really? All right. We're making progress. Then I take a motion to adopt the June 7th regular meeting and council minutes. Councillor Bossard, all in favor? That is carried. Item 5.0 is our community spotlight, which we haven't had for a little while, but we're pleased to have Terry Shimanowski, new president of the Drayton Valley and District Chamber of Commerce, come to share the good news that is happening with the chamber. Please. Good morning.
I just wanted to come and introduce myself. I know most of you, but I just wanted to put a face and a name so you know who I am. I have been with the Chamber for about, you're going to be surprised, about 4 months. I literally was hoodwinked into it. I actually went to an after, I did, it's not a lie. I was actually at a meeting for, we do after 5. And it's, council members or chamber members can come and meet. And we just kind of see what we're all doing and hash out some ideas, and I was there. And the past president, who is Heather Chambers, and Ryan Finn were there. And they just kind of cornered me in the back room over a glass of wine, and all of a sudden now I'm a member. And we're going to swear you in, and I was in. And, you get some free time in there, and I got on the events coordinator, and then I said, we should try this, we should do this, and I really like to do events. That's kind of my thing. I like that. So, and then I kind of saw some of the loops and ups and downs that the council had, or chamber, I see the word council, I got to quit looking at it. That, they've had some ups and downs, and I really wasn't in the loop about all the stuff that had been going on. And, it kind of appealed to me like, we're kind of a lagging dog, and we need to get picked up. We need to be part of the in crowd. So we started doing bigger events. We started getting out there more. And I realized that, this is something that could thrive. So unbeknownst to me, our AGM was coming, and I got to plan that, and that was wonderful. We had a great turnout. Things ran so smoothly. And then I find out the day before that I was nominated president, and I'm going, I've been here for 4 months, people. What do you see in me that I can do? Besides, I'm pushy. I like to get a job done. I like a puzzle. So if there's puzzle pieces laying around, I need to put them all together, right? And they have to make sense. Not always just to me, but for my community and for the people around me. So I said, sure, why not? Let's go for it. And then I thought, okay, so now I need friends. And that's why I've come to talk to you guys. I want to know what you guys would like from our chamber, from your chamber, that is going to help benefit all of you and benefit the community. And I thought, well, we might as well do some team building, and you're my first stop of a few. So I just, I'm not saying, I want answers now, but I'd like you guys to talk about it. Figure out what you want from the chamber so we can build, some more bridges. I know the bridge is there, a little wobbly some days, and that's okay. Every relationship has ups and downs. So I just wanted to say, hi, I'm here. You guys can reach out to all of us, and we'd love you guys to come out to our meetings, and I'm not sure if there's a representative that does. I'm way too new. I'm on such a learning curve, it's overload, but why not? I've worked with a few of you, like Pam on Tour of Alberta, which was flipping fantastic. Graham and I are on a couple of committees together. Deb, we've been on a couple things together, so, we've been at a few things together, Women in Business. So, anyways, so that's my spiel. But I just wanted to introduce myself, put a face to the name. And I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Terry. It's pretty obvious why you're the new president, because you have unbridled enthusiasm for business and for the community. So thank you very much for accepting that role and for being with us today. So this question, what does the town want from the Chamber of Commerce, or want to see happen with the Chamber of Commerce? That's an invitation to open a dialogue, and that's great. Chamber's had a busy year this past year, and I think pretty successful. It's grown its membership with our Economic Development Officer, Eric Burton. You've put together, I think, a pretty proactive plan for engaging business and individuals in the community.
He's an amazing resource to me.
Yes.
I bug him. I promise I wouldn't bug him on his holiday, but he is an amazing resource to me all the time.
Yeah.
I thank you very much for letting me use him all the time.
Not at all. We all have the same goal, and that's to grow business in Drayton Valley. So that's a big part of his role, and so we appreciate the fact that the Chamber has welcomed the use of him as a resource. So we will have that dialogue over the coming weeks, months, and years, I hope, to come, and carry on. I'd like to work on some projects going forward, and there are a few things that are probably percolating.
Yes, Culture Days is a big one.
Yeah, you bet. So and I'm about to open it up to council for questions. Was there a question over there? A comment? Okay. Yeah, sure. Councillor Frederickson.
Okay. There's just a couple things that really came to mind, and like the mayor had said, they were happy to see that the chamber has grown. I know this was quite a different picture even when I got on council back in 2015. So for a short period of time, there's been a huge, regrowth and development, which is awesome. A few things that I'm just throwing this out there. Capacity building opportunities, so connecting with our Norquest and our Clean Energy Technology Center. I know they're bringing in things like small business,
We're moving there.
social media. Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yes.
July
I'm on that committee.
We are in.
Yeah.
Yes,
So that's
we're in.
awesome.
Yes, that was my first order of business. Move where we are into something beautiful. So we
Yeah,
did.
which that's
Yes.
great. Yeah. Okay. So check that one off.
Okay.
A couple others was the one thing on, this is a personal perspective of mine, that it would be great to have a united voice for those local businesses in town. I know we do have membership on the, I forget what it is, the producers, the petroleum producers. So you kind of get that feel of the oil field.
The counties.
Yeah, like
they're
we
here tomorrow.
yeah,
Yes.
but we get a feel of that because we're there at that, right? Whereas with, up until, we'll see how it grows and stuff, there's just not necessarily a united voice coming from businesses in town, small businesses in town, of, what you want to see, thoughts on policies, what would make Drayton Valley a great place or a better place to do business.
Yes.
So that's just, and then networking. And I know you guys, it sounds like you're doing your after 5 and stuff, but just that networking, because I know, like growing up here, and there's a lot of people around this table where it's the same thing. You take for granted that you can just do a phone call, like, I know somebody who does a business, who knows a cousin
Yes.
who does that, right? Like,
Yes.
whereas new people coming to town don't have that asset, so that'd be just a great place for people to.
And I'm sure most of you know that I'm the former owner now of Terry Sims and stuff, and I have small business to me is huge. I mean, I know the big companies in town, I mean, I mean, they're going to keep going, and like the Walmarts, the Canadian Tires, they are going to keep going, but it isn't them that's going to sustain us. It's us little businesses, right? You know, that are going to thrive and keep our economy going all the time. And if they don't have support or a piece of a backbone, or Eric is doing his entrepreneur thing, right?
Yes.
And I mean, I'm just weaseling my way in there. I'm going to get into those meetings if I can. He tries to hold me back because I'll just take over. So, but it is the small, it's the tiny, it's, you know, it's the mom and pops. It's the new like Coffees and Cravings. They're going to do phenomenal. Have you guys been there? You all need to go. It's addicting. But it's those small businesses that are going to go, like material stores that aren't big chains. Those things, they need us to stay here, but they need people to say, okay, if you're going to buy your material, let's say Farrell at Material Matters or Stitch Into Dreams, why are you going to Fabricland in Edmonton? They don't offer do they offer any better cotton than they do? No. And they're exactly the same price because it's a price point, it's base, right? Like you can't change that. So why are you driving? It costs you how much in fuel? But people don't get that. And Costco is my biggest pet peeve in the whole world, besides Walmart. But we need to have the Walmarts in our small towns because we don't, like, there's no dress shops anymore. There's no men's suits anymore. Like, people graduating, where do you go to get a suit? You don't. So we need to keep them here. So the more that we as a community can say, okay, you know, I'll spend the extra $2 or even $5 to stay here, that's what we needed. That's what I needed. I mean, besides the economy, which was totally not anybody's fault, but I needed people to stop. Like even now, people come, oh, you know, Terry, I missed your store so much, and I know I'm a really good person for faces. I remember you. If you've been in my store, I know it. And you come up to me, I know you haven't been in my store, and I just want to scream, where were you? Oh, right, Costco's. Oh, right, you were in Edmonton. You weren't supporting me, so no, I'm not there. So if you wanted those cool trinkets, they're not here anymore. You know, do I think of my business as a failure? Absolutely not. I do not think of my business as a failure. It was a stepping stone, it was a growing stone, and, you know, a job or a position is going to come open, and I'm going to say, yep, that's the one I want. So right now, I'm just going to throw myself into this one, but those are really good points. Small business needs to thrive in this small town. That's what we are. Big business should not thrive. And I don't mean any disrespect to all type rentals, because we need to have those. You need to have the big businesses. Because if you don't have the big businesses, those people don't get a paycheck to come and spend their money in my little store. Right? Okay, I'm done babbling now.
All right. Thank you very much, Terry.
Thank you very much. I hope to see you guys all, and we'll chit-chat and email, and I'll be back.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Well, that was a vibrant community spotlight. So, the 6 delegations, and first up we have Anytime Fitness and the Boys and Girls Club.
Well, good morning, Your Worship.
Welcome.
Council. It's good to see you guys. So thanks for having us this morning. It's really great. And just a quick plug for the Chamber. We've been a part of the Chamber around that lady over there. Fantastic. It's great to see it's finally building momentum in our community, and we're seeing more and more businesses at all times. It's just fantastic. So we are doing something a little different. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a color run or anything like that before, but we're working on our plans to put on something. It's called Color Your Community, and we intend to do it as an ongoing thing. And we're excited to announce that we are working very closely now with the Drayton Valley Hoteliers Association. They've given us some money to go towards it to help raise funds, because the whole idea is to get the community out active. We're going to have a family-style run. We're going to have, it's a shorter one. We're going to have a 5K for anybody else that wants to do it. And so it's something we're very excited about. But we did bring the Boys and Girls Club here to just kind of talk about it. They're the group that we're going to be giving all the money to for this event. So we just wanted Kristen to share a little bit about what she has going on there. And then TJ is going to give you all the details because she's the info girl.
All right. Morning.
Morning. I don't know, I'm pretty short. I might
You,
have
you
to.
can pull that down. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. So Boys and Girls Club is a not-for-profit charity here in town. During the school year, we offer out-of-school care for kids ages 5 to 12, and in the summer, we have a summer camp. We have been in the community for 3 years, but I think that this year has been probably our best year for really getting out in the community, for people to know that we're here and we have affordable childcare, we're government subsidy, we have in-house club subsidy as well. But there's still a lot of people in our community that would benefit from our organization organization, being that we can offer subsidy, and they just don't know what we do. They don't know what we offer. They don't know that we have summer camp. So I think that with Anytime Fitness coming in and getting our name out there, we're going to be able to offer more to the community than what we have been. Right now we're offering only 70% to our community, when I think that we could really be at 90. There's a lot of people who think that Boys and Girls Club is a mentor program, and that's not what we are. There's still a lot of little kids that I see walking home alone that, could benefit from the Boys and Girls Club. We offer things that a lot of people, on a normal basis wouldn't get to experience, going to Brightwood Ranch and painting horses and taking them to the street performers and, doing things around town, going to our local museum, using our local busing system, all these awesome things that these kids wouldn't get to do for an affordable price. So the more we can get out in the community, the more that we can help the community. And I think too, not just for families, but organizations as well for donating as well. The more we're out there and people understand what we're doing, the better we can do for these young children. We're very restricted right now with being a not-for-profit, so the more we're out there, the better we're going to be able to do for these kids. The more field trips we're going to do, the more cultural events we're going to be able to do, the more we're going to be able to bring in speakers. I know Anytime Fitness has had trainers come and teach the kids how to be physically active and still have fun. So I think this is going to be really, really good for the Boys and Girls Club, and also the kids in the Boys and Girls Club to feel like they are part of this community. They are important. Their names are going to be out there. People are going to be running for these kids, and I think that's so important for this little generation, especially kids that right now are 11 and 12. They're going to be looking for jobs soon, and they want to feel like they're part of this community, and when they have this awesome gym and this community running for them, it's less likely to have them, vandalize the community, right? Because they feel like this is my community, I love it, and they love me, and they want to build it up, and they want to thrive. So I'm just so excited that Anytime Fitness is willing to actually put our name out there and bring such awareness to such an amazing organization and charity, and I really hope that this September when we have the run, that we have a lot more families in the fall coming in so that we can go from 70% to 90% or even 100% so that we can have more funding and we can do amazing things in this community. And one day, 20 years from now, I can have a kid come up to me and say, hey, because of your organization, I did this, or I feel this way. I can be myself. So this is just such an amazing organization that I really think needs to be a lot more vocal and known in the community.
What you just said, I think, is what young adults and older say across this country about Boys and Girls Club and that experience. These kinds of partnerships are great to see in Drayton Valley and elsewhere, and so let's hear some more about it.
Yeah, I'll hand it over to TJ. She hurt her back, so bear with her.
Oh,
Sorry, guys. Yes, so
Morning.
we want to have a 5K run. We would like to host it on September 2nd, so May long weekend. And we want to build it as a tourism opportunity for Drayton Valley. So we are looking for about 50% or more of our participants to be from out of town. So we want people to come into Drayton Valley, enjoy our community for the weekend, and get to participate in our run. Our 5K route, we would like to go from the front of our gym, so at Anytime Fitness, we'd like to go down towards the Dairy Queen corner, up around past St. Anthony's and Frank Maddock, and then down past Sobeys, and then back up the main drag. We would be looking for volunteers to help us with the road crossings, things like that. And then we also want to work with other companies in town to bring it together so that it is a community event. It's not just us putting it on, but we want the community to host it as well. We're going to work with Oil City Tap House, Oil Country Tap House. And what we're asking for is if the town would allow us to shut down the little bit of road from the front of 51st until the back of our gym there. Because what we would like to do is kind of have a party in the street or a holding area so that we can celebrate what we're doing for the town. We have talked with the Tap House. They're 100% for it. They would love to do something like that. And those we feel would be the two main companies that would be hit by shutting down that street would be us as the gym and then the Tap House as well.
right. I'm going to open it up to council for questions if you have any. Councillor Frederickson.
Oh, good, I see Pam's in the room. So I just have two questions. One is time frame. So what time would it be closed from what time to what time?
Yeah, so we would like to start our run at about 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And then we figured that the run should be all done by no later than 4. We would like to kind of still have a little bit of a meeting area there in the street because we want to have an after party, so then that way it keeps people in the town and keeps them spending in Drayton Valley for the night, not just coming in for the day for the run and then taking off right after. But the run itself would be, yeah, about 2 to 4.
Okay. And then just one other one I had, I'm not sure, this is Pam or Tom. Do we see any issues in terms of access, fire, safety? And just, Pam, just have you worked with Anytime Fitness on this?
Well, we need to bring up, this is United Two Council for this. This is just them explaining so we have more of an idea of how we do all that.
Okay. Anything further? Councillor Wheeler?
Is there a shorter run for the families that we were kind of saying before?
Yes, so
I'm
what
just
we're
curious.
going to do for our short run, it's about 2K, just over 2K. We're going to go the same starting route, Dairy Queen and up, and then at St. Anthony's, they're going to cut down through past 7-Eleven, so that little bit of a route would be about 2 kilometers, so it's a little bit shorter for the families.
How is it being advertised?
So we are going to use we're going to use a lot of social media for our advertisement. We are also going to get a website built that people can register directly through on the website. And then we would like to use the local markets like the newspaper, the radios, and things like that. And then we have another gym in Whitecourt, and we also have partners and friends in the communities of Rocky Mountain House, Red Deer, Leduc, and Wetaskiwin. So they would be using their social marketing and theirs as well. And then a huge part of it is just going to be people talking to each other. We've already have about 100 or more people that said they would love to do it, just from the small amount we've talked about it so far.
Excellent. Anything further? Councillor Long?
Yeah, thanks for coming in. I love this idea. I love this kind of thing, and if my calendar is free, I will certainly take part myself very slowly.
Awesome.
I challenge some of my colleagues to do the same. Great event for the community, and if you're able to bring in folks from out of town, that's fantastic too.
Yeah, Mr. Dibben.
If I could just ask a question about the practicality of the event, not being familiar with color run and color aspects. So the actual color paint elements that are used, is there going to be, or do you envision a need then for public works support in terms of cleanup? What's the basis of the color? Is it going to, is it a staining product? Is it water soluble? Do we need to, in addition to the street closures and the road aspects, is there going to be any kind of follow-up cleanup requirements on the part of town staff?
Yeah, so when we first started talking about the run, I worked with Pam and I asked her what her thoughts were on us being on the streets for the color portion of it. She had asked if there was a chance of us getting around that, we would like to. So we have talked to some local businesses in town, and we are going to use parking lots as our color basis. So you're going to have 3 spots on the route that you run through, and the people are kind of throwing the color powders and stuff at you. The color itself is a very high quality product that they have designed to be very easy to wash off. It doesn't stain clothing, it doesn't stain the ground, anything like that, and it's environmentally friendly as well. So it is something that the parking lots that we use, we would just need to rinse them off with some water, provide hoses or something like that to be able to rinse them off. But the product that we're using is designed to be environmentally friendly and also designed to be able to get clean quickly.
Anything further? I haven't been in a color run, but I've seen them, and I do think the color aspect of it kind of enhances the collegial atmosphere. Councillor Bossert?
Thanks for coming in this morning. This sounds like a very fun event. I'm assuming the purpose of the event, though, is fundraising?
Yes.
To raise funds
Yes, so
for
every
the Boys
sing-
and Girls Club?
Yes, so every bit of money that we make above the costs, but we also we're working with the Drayton Valley Hoteliers Association, so they are covering a large portion of our costs. We're also going to look for anybody else who wants to partner with us for that as well. So anything that comes up and above that is 100% going to go to the Boys and Girls Club. Yeah, so it's an absolute fundraiser for them. So we're really excited to partner with them. As Corey was saying in the beginning, we would like to make this an annual event. As an annual event, the run theme may change from year to year. We did a bunch of research this year to find out something that was going to be very popular that would draw a crowd. Right now, color runs are an absolute fad. As the years go on, maybe the fad might change more towards the foam runs or any other type of run. So we would like to grow with that as it changes, as well as we would like to grow and try to give it out as much to the community as possible. So each year, we will look for an organization that is in need in the community, and we will help draw attention to them and help raise funds for them.
All right, thank you very much. Was there anything further, gentlemen? No? Okay.
No, our biggest one is just, we would just love if we could get put on for the decision of
Yep.
mainly 100% yes, we're allowed to have this run in your guys' community, in our community, and then also, are we allowed to shut down that road to have our big staging area?
Right. I anticipate that coming very shortly.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you guys.
Thanks. All right. Item 6.2, delegations, community services. We have Bernice Taylor with the Find the Litterbug Contest presentation.
Thank you, and good morning, Council. So we ran the Find the Litterbug contest for 3 weeks. We had established 32 areas in the community for people that they could go and actually take a picture of themselves with the litterbug, and 22 of those areas were found, which was very exciting for us, because some of them were hidden gems in the community, and we were really glad that people like Rachel searched those out. We had 85 photos come through to our Instagram page for that event, which was excellent. 22 entries, 22 people participated, and Rachel had 22 photos. And we did put everybody in a hat and do a draw, but when you have 22 entries, that kind of means you win. So Rachel, if you want to come up, we'd like to present you with something fabulous for seeking out those spots all around the community.
It's really good. Yeah, it is. All right, item 6.3, we have the RCMP statistics for May of 2017. Corporal Mike Dawson. Welcome.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. So I'll just introduce myself to start with. This is my first council meeting. My name is Corporal Michael Dawson. Been here since late September, so I'm just coming up on a year pretty soon. I've grown up in communities like this pretty much my whole life. I'm actually from Whitecourt, so it's not far from home. Similar type of communities, similar type of landscape, so it feels like home to me, and I'm really enjoying it here so far.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
It's a little belated, but yeah.
Pardon?
A little late, but better late than never. Yeah.
Yeah, this is generally not my responsibility, and I didn't really know it was going to be until like Friday. So
That's okay.
bear with me.
We
I'm probably
Sergeant for about 2 hours, ask probing questions and solve all the world's crime problems. So,
I'll do my best.
okay.
So generally, I'll just go over some of the stats. The month of May was fairly on par with the months in the previous, for the rest of the year. Things have been pretty consistent across the board, with a few kind of outliers from previous years for the same time period. Primarily, thefts under $5,000 have been up pretty substantially. The bulk of those have been thefts from motor vehicles, so a lot of rummaging through vehicles, usually unlocked, stuff like that. So, in addition, we also had a few break-and-enters, 2 of which were to residences, 3 to businesses, and 4 to like outbuildings like sheds and garages and stuff like that. But the numbers are fairly consistent with previous ones. And the residents, out of the 2 residential ones, one was actually unoccupied. It was under construction or under renovation. So for the most part, they haven't been occupied residences. For persons crimes, assaults were up considerably compared to May of last year. Out of the 7 assaults, 4 were domestic related, and in all of those cases, charges were laid against the person responsible. Sorry, to go along with the break and enters, that's been trending upwards and has been identified as a bit of an issue. One of those problems is actually the way that they've been being scored in our system. Some of the ones that have been scored as other have actually been a break and enters to lease sites and stuff like that. So the numbers are showing higher for that area than they should be. So they should be down a little bit more. Right now they're at 8 for the year, whereas last year they were at 3, but that number should be actually 6, which would bring it kind of more in line with what the normal is for this time period anyway.
I think you just raised something that strikes a chord with some questions that we had inquired about some time ago. Do I understand correctly that all of these statistics are detachment statistics? They're not Town of Drayton Valley charges?
Yes.
Right.
At least that's my understanding of it from the way that I've read it. I didn't pull the stats myself, so I don't know 100% where they came from, but the ones that I compared to look up a little bit more information on this morning, they were from within our detachment area, not specific just to the Town of Drayton Valley.
Right. Thank you. So please carry on.
I think those are the biggest things to kind of hit on, unless you guys have any questions about anything specific. Those are probably our most common areas that we're being dispatched to. But
Right. I'm particularly concerned about the assault charges. Crimes against a person are particularly offensive to community spirit, and those assaults, so there are 7 thus far in 2017. You said 4? Can you review the statistics there on the assaults?
yeah, sorry, this is just for the month of May.
Okay.
There were 7 reported assaults that were deemed to have actually occurred, 4 of which were domestic related.
Okay.
For the
So were there only, were all 7 had charges laid? Is that correct?
that's no, I believe. Sorry, I think 2 of them. I don't have the exact numbers exactly. I believe 2 of them were in relation to basically bar fights outside a couple of the establishments. 4 that were domestic related, and 1 other one I believe was at one of the schools. It was dealt with through the schools. It wasn't dealt with through the criminal system.
Of the total number of assaults, you indicated maybe a couple of them were at the bars, including the domestic incidents. Can you comment on whether alcohol was a factor? Alcohol or other substances?
I don't know the exact numbers on which ones were and which ones weren't, but generally speaking, the majority of them involve alcohol.
Tend to be. Okay. Thank you. Councillor Bossert, did you have a question?
Good morning. Thank you for coming in. Welcome belatedly to council. We've been hearing reports, social media reports about people lurking in retail parking lots and interrupting car lock fobs. So person will use their remote fob to try and lock their car, and somebody else has the ability to jam that locking system. Do you have any comment on what's going on there and what we can do about it?
I've heard of the reports that you're referring to. We've had staff from our office and myself personally go and try our fobs at those places, and we've had no issue. We haven't been able to find any reason as to why that may be happening. If it's just related to like a dying battery in somebody's fob or something like that, I don't know. But we haven't experienced the issue firsthand even when we go to try it ourselves.
Okay.
So
Anything further?
Sorry.
That's okay. Councillor Frederickson?
Just two things. With the fraud, I'm looking at the 2017 trends here. The numbers that are reported, are those local fraudsters, or is it locals reporting fraud that may be happening nationally or internationally?
Those are all cases that are reported to us or from basically where the victim is.
Okay.
In 90% or more, I could get you the exact numbers. They're generally perpetrated from generally outside the country.
Right.
But if not from other parts of the country, typically Ontario and Quebec.
Okay.
Sometimes even the East Coast.
Yeah.
There's not a lot that's actually occurring locally. Like out of the 37, there would maybe be a handful that are actually like attempted, like passing a bad check or something like that.
Right.
But the more substantial stuff is usually from a lot of times from overseas.
Okay.
And the money, and we usually track the money to actually be shipped to either like the Middle East or even Jamaica or stuff like that. So.
Yeah, okay. And then my second one was with the sexual assault trends in 2017, are those 12 separate cases or 12 separate reports from the same individuals? Not saying, I'm not diminishing it in any way, but I'm just trying to understand if it's something that's prolific between, over the course of many different individuals, or is it something that we're seeing more so being perpetrated, say, in a household, and then there's just being continued reporting?
The numbers that come up on the stats are individual files. I can't speak to whether or not they're the same people making the allegations. I'd have to look into that a little bit more. From the actual May numbers, there was only one, and there was a charge laid in that one, and it was not familial, so it wasn't two people living in the same house.
Right.
So I would need to look a little bit more into the previous months. I didn't have a chance to really go into the January to May stats this morning, unfortunately. But for the actual May numbers, there was only the one, and a charge was laid in that one.
Right.
But I would need to go into it a little bit more to get the answers that you're looking for
Cool.
for the other period of the year. Sorry.
Thank you.
Anything further? All right, I think you've gotten off easy.
Actually, I just want to bring up one thing, just so you guys are aware. There was a bit of an incident yesterday. I know I saw some people taking videos and photos and stuff like that, so in case you guys are made aware, there was a incident at Boston Pizza yesterday where a male who was threatening to harm himself was taken into custody at high risk. He was found in possession of a loaded firearm, he was taken into custody safely, nobody was injured, and he was taken for a mental health assessment. And he's also facing a number of firearms-related charges as well. But just since that was a fairly public event, and it just happened yesterday, I just wanted you guys to be aware of it. So if you get any phone calls about it, you're hearing it hopefully from me first.
I appreciate that you're bringing it to our attention. Those sorts of incidents do cause a stir in the community. I think importantly, I gather from what I'm hearing, no one was harmed.
That's correct.
The individual is getting appropriate psychiatric attention.
That's correct.
And the administration of justice is proceeding as it should.
Yes, it is.
Was this indoors or outdoors?
The event took place outdoors. He was inside but came outside while we were basically setting up our plan for.
And are you able to comment on the nature of the firearm? Was it a handgun or a rifle?
It was a handgun.
All right. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we will move on to the decision items. 7.1, Councillor Frederickson, the 2017 Alberta Urban Municipalities Association Awards.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Recently, Alberta Urban Municipalities Association, AUMA, put a call out for municipalities to submit some nominations for their annual awards. There are 6 award categories available, all of which require a council resolution prior to the nomination being submitted. The deadline for submissions is June 30th, 2017. The categories are in areas of sustainability for which Drayton Valley has previously won, service of elected officials, and administrative service. Therefore, I move that council nominate Nicole Nadeau for the 2017 awards offered through Alberta Urban Municipalities Association, the category of Award of Excellence, for her involvement in drafting the Community Sustainability Plan, championing for Alberta arts and culture programs in the community, her involvement in the Women in Government and Women in Leadership programs, her involvement in AUMA committees linked to Women in Government Committee, as well as Elected Officials Professional Development Committee, and her involvement as president of the Task Force on Women Issues and Government.
Thank you, Councillor Frederickson. Any discussion on, we have a motion before us. Any discussion on the motion? All right, Councillor Long.
Thank you. Nicole certainly is a worthy nominee, and I'm happy to support this. I just didn't want to let the moment pass, though, without recognising the contributions of Councillor Schuler at this, over very much the same time frame. Unfortunately, we can only put forward one name, and I think Nicole's is the right one. But I would be remiss of me to let the Dean's contribution pass unnoticed at this point.
No, absolutely correct regarding Councillor Schuler's many contributions over his 9 years on council. Councillor Nadeau's nomination here is equally worthy of consideration, and I'll note, just because there are someone on council who may not be aware, Councillor Schuler's efforts were recognized in the previous council with the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Award, much deserved and appropriately presented at that time. Sorry, did I see a hand up? Councillor Bossert?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wholeheartedly support this nomination for Nicole. She worked tirelessly to put her stamp of her unique personality into our community. She's passionate about issues of young women serving the community, municipally and otherwise. And I know that in her heart, she simply wanted to leave the community a better place from when she started as a councillor, and I believe she did that with great excellence. So I fully support the nomination.
Thank you. Anything further? All right. Call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Item 7.2, Councillor Wheeler, amendment of the appointment of Deputy Mayor Policy.
Thank you. In recognition of the deputies to perform in the role of Deputy Mayor, the existing appointment of Deputy Mayor Policy C314 has been amended to include a list of Deputy Mayor responsibilities. Specifically, Section 5 has been added and includes duties such as setting council and governance priorities agendas, chairing governance and priorities meetings, and advising the mayor on topical issues. The amendments to the policy are intended to offer elected officials a clearer understanding of the roles and responsibilities of deputy mayor, which is a position that each elected official will fill during their term of office. Therefore, I move that council approve the amended appointment of Deputy Mayor Policy C314 as presented.
Thank you very much. Any discussion on this motion? I would add for the media's interest, if there is any, that the adoption of this policy is intended to enhance the accountability of both the mayor and council generally in the community. The provisions in the policy have actually been undertaken since the beginning of this term. We are adopting it now because we've seen the benefits that can accrue to both council and the community for enhancing accountability in this way. So if the media wishes to talk further about this offline, I'm happy to do so. It's something I'm particularly proud of council for their work on over the last 3+ years and participation in the role of deputy mayor as each councillor does have the opportunity to serve 8 months as deputy mayor. My desire and council's desire is to make that a meaningful role. What more meaningful contribution could there be than to enhance the accountability of the mayor and council? So with that, I will get off my soapbox and turn it over to Councillor Frederickson for a comment or question.
Just a comment that I'm glad to see that we do have the deputy mayor policy, and that Mayor McLean has used it to the maximum amount that it's able to be stretched. It is a really good learning opportunity. It's an excellent learning opportunity to get understanding of more of the intricacies that come into some of the decision-making items, the running of meetings, the amount of responsibility that you're taking on as a community, I want to say leader, but as a community councillor or a mayor, when you're running meetings and decision items. That you're really you really get that full sense that you're playing that role in shaping the community. And I appreciate my tutelage so far since February in the deputy mayor role. It has been a good experience.
I think what Councillor Frederickson means is that I've made the deputies work hard. And I think everybody would attest to that. And I hope it's in a nice and collegial way, but there are moments where it's a particularly demanding role. So, this organization could not function without everybody working towards the same goal. So, thank you. Let's have a vote before I forget about that part. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? That is carried. By the way, this, to my knowledge, this policy that we've just approved does not exist anywhere else in any other municipality in the province of Alberta, to my knowledge. So, with that, I will go to Councillor Bossert for item 7.3, the push notification policy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The town of Drayton Valley first launched a mobile application, the app, in the fall of 2014 as a method of communication with the residents of Drayton Valley. As a mobile application, there is the ability to utilize a push notification system for app subscribers. Subsequently, push notifications have been incorporated into part of the town's communication procedure and are valuable tools to reach app subscribers on an immediate basis. As such, administration has reviewed the push notification policy A0915 to ensure that it appropriately meets the needs of the municipality. Within the amended policy, push notifications will be utilized for information which affects a majority of residents in the three key areas, or three key categories: emergency, health risk, and elections. Therefore, I move that council approve the amended push notification policy A0915 as presented.
Thank you, Councillor Bossert. Any discussion on the motion? Councillor Wheeler.
Thank you. I'm just wondering, in the general theme of emergencies, when we're talking about it, if we do end up having an EOC and having a DEM in charge, did the thought process go of when we'd be using these push notifications in that process that it would still go through communications through the CAO and then to the DEM, even if the DEM is in charge, kind of? Just wondering how that...
Mr. Dimon?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks for the question, Councillor Wheeler. The policy, its application is intended for normal operations and normal aspects. In the event that a situation warranted the activation of an emergency operations center, greater measures of authority and responsibility are vested in the director. And so in that regard, it would be the director or the director's designate for the purposes of providing information, updates, and different elements that would make that call and be able to unilaterally make that call. Our director for the municipality is our manager of emergency services, and so that would be vested along those lines. I serve as his deputy, and so to the degree that we would need to utilize that, we would be doing that and operating as such.
Thank you. I think this is instructive, just to mention that the fact that Councillor Wheeler refers to the EOC and the DEM, Director of Emergency Management, this is significant because it wasn't that long ago, a few years ago, that nobody in this room would know what those letters stood for. So now we're all fairly conversant, and that's in thanks to the people that we have in place to help educate council and others on these important measures. So thanks. Again, off my soapbox. Any further discussion on this motion? Councillor Frederickson.
I'm just glad to see that this come forward. I know when we first brainstormed the app, we had talked about push notifications and in what kind of circumstance would they be used. Speaking of former Councillor Schuler, I know he was one that was very, really just wanted it to see for those emergency situations, that critical information that the community wants to see so that people aren't getting bombarded with, information after information. So I'm really glad to see this come forward, and thank you for the work of our communications department.
All right, with that, call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Item 7.4, Councillor Long, FCSS Advisory Board appointment.
Thank you. Bylaw 9814 of the Town of Drayton Valley prescribes that the Drayton Valley and District Family and Community Support Services, that's FCSS, Advisory Board shall consist of 7 members appointed by a resolution of Town Council for a 2 or 3 year term. The appointment of Ms. Rebecca Lees as youth representative on the FCSS Advisory Board would have expired on October 31st this year. However, Ms. Lees has left the community. This resulted in the position being vacant, and as such, the position was advertised and 1 application was received. The interested applicant, and I apologize if I'm mangling her name, is Lacey Sinsinski. So I move that Council appoint Ms. Lacey Sinsinski as the youth representative on the FCSS Advisory Board for the remainder of the vacant term, which expires on October 31st, 2017.
Thank you very much, Councillor Long. Just in reviewing her application, as we all have, certainly seems to be an engaged young woman. So we haven't actually decided on this yet. So I'll ask if there are any questions, comments, discussion. Councillor Bossert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm currently the council member or council representative with FCSS, so I wanted to take this opportunity to thank Rebecca Lees for her time on the board. We very much value the voice of our youth on our committees in the community. They bring a very unique perspective, one that is important to have at the table no matter what group is being represented. So thank you to Rebecca for her time. And should we pass this motion, Ms. Sinsinski would fill the term for just the next few months, and that may seem unusual, but we value having youth at the table. So that position will be reevaluated at the end of October, and perhaps her name will continue to stand, but at least in the meantime, we will have a youth representative joining us with FCSS, and that's of great value.
All right, thank you. Okay, seeing no further discussion, all in favor? That is carried. And welcome to Lacey to the FCSS Advisory Board. I'm going to call a short break now, and we'll reconvene in 10 minutes. Call the meeting back to order. Item 8.0 is the department reports, engineering and development. Mr. Fraser.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first item is the sheet I put in front of everyone. It's a record of the development permit applications and approvals since the last council. And so we had 13 development permits approved, a lot of them for decks and so forth at the mobile home park, 53rd Ave and 52nd Street. And we had 5 business license applications for various different types of businesses. With respect to planning and development activities, since last council, we had the open house for the 50th Street area structure plan on June 22nd. There were 14 people that attended. It was generally well received. There was a few local landowner concerns that are still being followed up on, but overall fairly successful, I would say. The new intermunicipal development plan, RFP, has gone out, been issued by the county, and so we're waiting on submissions towards the end of June. That's the one where the town and the county are working in partnership to prepare a new intermunicipal development plan. The DeBee Lands Area Structure Plan open house is planned for July 18th. And of course, staff are busy working on their usual development permit requests, subdivision requests, and county referrals. With respect to utilities, the water reservoir number 2 by the hospital has been cleaned. That was one of the activities we'd planned for this year. The long line painting has been completed in town. And our mechanic, Dana, at the Public Workshop has achieved his Red Seal qualifications in both automotive and heavy duty, which is quite an achievement. And I've been advised that we're about ready to put down the dust suppression shortly. I don't have a fixed date, but it's going to happen soon. So, with respect to Mackenzie Avenue, milling is now scheduled for July 4th after the long weekend. I'm not sure exactly how long it'll take, probably a couple of days. They anticipate having all the paving done, line painting, landscaping, and cleanup by the end of July. That's the latest that I have from them. So I've asked for additional details, and we'll forward that when I have it. So the Cell 4 berm tender closes today at 2 p.m. And that will allow the construction of the or repairs to the lagoon at the wastewater treatment facility. And happy to say that all environmental permits have been received, both federal and provincial, so we're good to go. The request for qualifications for the raw water pump station is out and closes on July 5th at 2 p.m. I have the draft contract documents for the cured-in-place process sanitary main rehabilitation project. Still waiting for the drawings, but hope to be able to advertise that probably next week.
Can you back that up? What is that again?
Okay, so this is the work in the Little Lions Park area to rehabilitate.
No, it was the name that you called it.
The cured-in-place process. So it's basically blowing in kind of a resin,
Right.
blowing it into the sanitary
Gotcha.
main. So it's supposed to be a cost-effective and efficient way to repair the
Yes? Yeah.
sewers. 43rd Ave and Beckett Road paving is tentatively scheduled for August. Still waiting for a harder date from the contractor. Acknowledge we're still looking into the issue about the water that seems to be emanating from that water valve at the east end of 43rd Ave, and it is somewhat perplexing, but we're undertaking some investigations on that. The Northwest Quadrant Trail, I've been informed that our pedestrian bridge is in. They're just finishing up bolting it and so forth. And I understand now that the paving of the trails on our component will be after the long weekend, early in July. I guess additionally, the concrete pad has been poured. This is Barry's area. Concrete pad has been poured for the backup generator, and it's curing. And the Tame Express LED bulb replacements are almost 100% complete. And I'd like to compliment Barry on going the extra step to get a good price on the bulbs. Like he got it significantly cheaper than what was quoted initially by emphasizing the fact that it was a bulk order. So we achieved significant savings there. And that would conclude my report.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Councillor Bossert?
Thank you. Just want to know from your lips what the work is going on 50th Street going east of 7-Eleven. There's a bunch of trucks and it looks to me like line flushing, but I really don't know. So because there's a lot of activity, I just would like to know what that activity is.
I can't say for 100% sure. I can follow up on it, but I noticed it myself there yesterday, and that was where they had the rolls of it looked like orange cable. So I'm not 100% sure. I can look into it and get back to you.
Councillor Wheeler?
Yes, I ran into some gentlemen that are doing the work, and I did inquire as well, and they're working for Shaw, putting in conduit. So.
There we go. Any more questions for Councillor Wheeler? All right, thank you very much, Ron. 8.2, Community Services and FCSS, Bernice Taylor.
That's like your radio announcer voice.
I'm
Ernest
trying.
Taylor. I like being community service because I get to tell all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
This is just awesome sitting here. Canada Day is coming up right away, and there is just a wealth of events for the whole weekend, which is really exciting. It's just sticking to one day. So if anybody's been sort of keeping track of the 150th Voyageurs Rendezvous Canoe Race, that's really exciting and starts a little outside of the community, but will be here on July 2nd, so make sure you take in some of those events. Canada Day starts at 7:30 a.m. and goes right till the end of the night if you can stay up that long. It doesn't get dark till almost midnight, so that's a late night for everybody, if you can manage that. They've got a host of events and all over the community, which is lovely. It is at the park. Our main events are at the park, but the Well House is also doing some really fun old school events, pie throwing and watermelon eating and donut eating. So I love those kind of contests, especially for that sort of historical feel in Canada Day. I get to share some exciting news from the Omniplex. They created a human foosball in Nerf Arena. They hosted their first event June 14th, had 100 children out the first night.
Wow.
Which is just, that really shows that this is something that's exciting. You know, when we talk about the colors race coming up, these are the things that people are looking for, and I like that we're being innovative and using that space and really engaging community.
What age are the kids in the foosball?
Families could come out, so I
Yeah?
don't,
Oh,
as
okay.
long as, I think it was with parents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can come back with an exact age if you need, but.
Right.
6 teams signed up for the foosball tournament as well. And the arenas will be open Canada Day from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m., so it's a great opportunity for people to pop in and check that out.
Cool. All right.
Thanks.
That's it?
Yep.
All right. Thank you. Looking forward to Canada Day. Economic Development, we have Pam Livingston in place of Eric Burton. Welcome.
Thank you,
Welcome,
Mr.
but-
Mayor,
yeah.
Council. As Eric's out of the office until July 27th, I am pleased to provide this brief update to Council. With respect to the hemp cluster project, the first 2 phases of the market assessment have now been completed, and with the 3rd phase underway, and I understand from Eric that it's expected to be complete mid-July. I will speak briefly of the Chamber of Commerce because our guest this morning captured a lot of what I was going to speak on. The town was very proud to sponsor work with the Chamber, on their successful AGM. They've held their first meeting following that. And again, a lot of motivation and energy as expressed by Terry this morning, and we're looking forward to their work in partnership at the CUTC when they take up occupancy. That concludes my report.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Sorry, were there any questions or comments? Mr. Diven?
Maybe just a follow-up comment for the horde of media that are in the room. One of the aspects that in collaboration with the Chamber that I think we would want to, and we'll put the economic development banner on that, is just the recent changes to the POR program. That not only look at a sustainability initiative, but also look at that in terms of what the town can do to promote economic development, and looking at that and the revised criteria of the program that actually gave a nod to local business. And so just for the record, we'll put that on there along those lines that as a member of the Chamber, I think the town takes a look at what the appropriate opportunities could and should be. And I just wanted to point that out and a nod to council for doing what they can do within their purview and scope of responsibility to promote economic development in our community.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll carry on to emergency services. Tom Thompson.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, Council. Nothing a whole lot to report this time around, other than the fact that we are in the process of hiring our new training officer, and we hope to have that position filled fairly soon. As Council's aware, our former training officer, Rob Reed, has chosen to go back to the private sector, so we are anxiously in the process of doing the hiring process, and we'll be anxiously awaiting for that job to be filled. And that's all I have to report.
Okay. With the fire service, no news is good news. So, thank you. Administration, communications and marketing, Jen Stone. If you could remember that I said that in a radio-like voice, that it gets back to the appropriate person, that'd be good.
Mayor, Council, and Administration, I just have a brief update for you. So since the last council meeting, there have been over 11,000 page view on our website. 57% of those were new users, which was kind of exciting to see, and 43% were returning users. And for social media, of course, through the summer months, we will be continuing to use social media and all of those tools to promote all of our events and initiatives. And finally, the annual report is nearing completion, and we should have copies online in the coming days. That's my report.
Any questions or comments? Councillor Frederickson.
Question. Hard copies?
We won't have hard copies available by the end of the week. They will be online, and we will have hard copies probably in the next week or two.
Councillor Dirksen.
This actually just goes back to the push notification we're talking about. Do we know how many people actually have the Drayton Valley app, or is there any way to know that, or we don't
I
know?
can get some numbers together for you. The last,
It was over 1,000.
I was going to say we're
Yeah.
definitely over 1,000, but I can certainly provide a definite number for you.
Yeah, yeah. Right on. Anything further? Okay, thank you very much. And Mr. Dimmitt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A few things to report on since the last council meeting. Just attendance at a number of meetings outside of necessarily the administration scope proper, but that included the Brighter Futures AGM on June the 12th. It included the DVHTA board meeting last Friday, the 16th, as well as I attended the Boys and Girls Club of Wetaskiwin board meeting in Wetaskiwin on Monday, the 26th, from more of a town representative aspect, not a town staff representative aspect, as they have not had a Drayton Valley presence on the board of directors in over a year. And so at that meeting, our program director, who was here this morning, Kristen Dupron, was actually presenting to the board on the annual report on the activities of the Boys and Girls Club here in the community. And so it was actually a good coincidence of timing to just kind of bulk that up and be able to speak from a broader community perspective rather than just a program aspect as well. Have been involved as well in interviews for the vacant Hospitality and Tourism Authority Executive Director position. Completed the interviews last week, and we're hoping that a recommendation to the board will be going forward within a week, and hopefully then have a new Executive Director in place as quickly as is possible. With the mayor and deputy mayor, attended the IDP discussion group meeting last Wednesday morning, and also had the great opportunity, along with our ECDC director, to attend the day home providers meeting last night. And I do want to actually just commend Bernice and her staff on just their approach with the day home providers. These are challenging times for the municipality and certainly for families and for our providers as well. But talking through collaboratively how we can look at these challenges and opportunities together with a lot of notice, and talking about what changes might have to be contemplated for subsequent years, and taking a longer term vision and approach. And certainly something we're endeavoring to do with town operations and town aspects, and it's being mirrored all the way through. And I guess just finally, I wanted to, I guess with mixed emotions, formally and publicly, indicate to council that this will be Mr. Ron Fraser's last council meeting with us. Ron is going to be departing the town to take on the position of Director of Transportation and Engineering with Strathcona County. This is not, as I've heard in other circles, an attempt on the part of town administration to look at non-contiguous amalgamation with the specialized municipality of Strathcona County. But I do want to thank Ron for his years of service to the community. It has been a challenging time with not just the economy broadly, but certainly within town operations. And as we've seen, as we hit our 60th year as a municipality, a number of what I like to say are opportunities with our infrastructure and with other elements of engineering rising to the front. And not only has Ron and his staff had to tackle and address these with an ever tight fiscal envelope to address them, but he's also had to do that for the last 18 months with a weenie social scientist like me, challenging the different and conventional methods of professional engineering and standards and contract approaches, and has always been willing to take a look at what we do and how we do it, even if it is a unique and made in Drayton Valley approach to some of these opportunities. So, Ron, we wish you well. We will miss you in the community, and we wish you and your family nothing but success in your future endeavors. So, thank you for your service.
And I'd echo those comments, Ron. You came at a challenging time. You've served during challenging times. You've had difficult problems to grapple with, and you've done so. And we thank you for your service to our community, and wish you nothing but the best in Strathcona County, you and your family. And thanks so much for being with us this period of time that you've been able to be in Drayton Valley. So you're not moving, well, technically you are moving north again, but not very much more. So thank you.
I just want to thank CEO Dwight. Thanks very much for those kind words. Appreciate it. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much as well. It's very much with mixed emotions. It's I guess it's just an opportunity that came along that was kind of unexpected, and it offers a lot of career growth for me. I'll be right in the thick and the heavy of the transportation issues with Strathcona County and the city of Edmonton and so forth. So it's kind of right focused in, I guess, my area of background and expertise, so to speak. But I really enjoy Drayton Valley. I'm gonna miss the ease of getting to the office, being able to go home for lunch, smelling the crystal clear air and drinking the good water, and I'll be in heavy traffic and dealing with issues. But thank you very much. I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we will move on to council reports now. Councillor Wheeler.
Thank you. It was a busy month. I always find June is. People are wrapping up before the summer. So we got to celebrate the library's 60th anniversary, which was nice to see. They had wonderful scrapbook albums, and I did manage to find a picture of myself, even though I'm not sharing it, from when I was quite little. We had our Healthy Communities Coalition meeting, and there's a bunch of different focuses with the group. They're all kind of moving along, progressing. The community dinner did have its largest turnout. They had over 180 people there for the last dinner, and wonderful variety mix of people, great food. Everyone was enjoying the evening. I think the word's getting out there more and more that it's always the third Tuesday of the month. It runs all through the summer, all through the winter. So yeah, I heard the town might be signed up to be volunteering one night, so we'll make sure that we're all there for that. The Community Foundation had their meeting. They wrapped up from their garage sale live auction and are just kind of settling in to get ready for the DV100 as their next big event coming in the fall, which I know there's an awesome team entered that's been training.
Yes.
Looking for some clarity there. We went to Aboriginal Days, and then also the North Saskatchewan Watershed Alliance had their AGM that I attended. So They do have their annual report, which I brought a copy back, so if anyone would like to have a peruse through, it does go through. There's basically the Sturgeon has an area, Vermilion has an area, there's a couple lakes that have areas that they work together, and then our headwaters area. So talked about what they're all doing. They're all working on different projects and focuses, which is kind of nice to see because then they end up following in the footsteps with everyone else and using all those different ideas. So it's a great collaboration group and a very diverse group. So yeah, we had the RISE event, which we attended with Dr. Unger, and seeing how that's progressing and kind of morphing into the community, and they're fully engaged in the community, which is nice to see. So I just want to wish everyone a happy Canada Day, and yes, definitely check out all the stuff that is going on all weekend and with the paddling race. It's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see that paddling race come in when they're actually racing. They're not just cruising down the river and they do their sprint, they turn around and they go back up the river, which is, if you've ever been in the North Saskatchewan River, that's not an easy river to paddle up. So quite exciting to see. And then, yeah, a thank you to Ron for all your time here. We do have quite a large hat that we put on a lot of our directors, I think, and you stepped up and filled in, so thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Councillor Bossert.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. June 12th, I attended a sustainability meeting. On the 13th, I was invited to attend the Norquest Appreciation Meet and Greet in Edmonton. Was able to have a conversation with Dr. Abbott there. Had a little bit of conversation about the progress of our joint venture agreement with them, and we hope to see that fleshed out and all signed up by the end of the next month, I believe. She gave Drayton Valley a shout out as one of the key stewardship partners with Norquest, and I just look forward to the further development of our relationship with Norquest here in our local community at our local campus. June 14th, I attended the Women in Leadership wrap-up. Just a number of young ladies attended that wrap-up with some of us counselors, and they're just full of energy, full of ideas, and I just see rising stars there. It's just very encouraging to be part of a program with such positive energy going on. As was mentioned, on June 16th, I attended the Drayton Valley Community Library's 60th anniversary. Mrs. Olga Brown gave a beautiful story about women's Institute in Drayton Valley. Just a lot of really informational historical points about our community, and the photo display was very well done, and just was I know a number of councillors were able to find pictures that were part of their time here in Drayton Valley, so congratulations to the library for their anniversary. On the 21st, I also attended the Aboriginal awareness activities down at the St. Anthony's School grounds, and I just have to say that they had to throw that together pretty much at the last minute. There had been some changes that went on behind the scenes, and I just tip my hat to those that did set up, present their Aboriginal culture to our community with such color and with flair. On the 22nd, I also attended the RISE project interview with Dr. Unger. He's a very engaging speaker and was able to share with us some of the stories from what he has already learned from some of the other communities involved with the RISE project. We are one of 3 communities, the other 2 being Cambridge Bay and a community in South Africa. It is a massive research project, and I think we are very fortunate to have been chosen, and that the youth of our community will be studied and researched and followed and incorporated into this project for 5 years to come. Of course, this weekend is Canada's 150th birthday, and the town and adjoining agencies and groups have come together to provide an amazing weekend for our community, but for me it's very special. I work with many newcomers in our community, and for them, Canada Day is a very, very important day. Some of my students have come from places of unspeakable atrocities, and they find coming to Canada a place of safety, refuge, second chances. So this year for me and for my students, Canada Day is just a little extra special. I might be in the parade with my grandson, we're not sure yet, but I invite everybody to come out, enjoy the weekend, the events on Canada Day itself, and then the Voyageurs Rendezvous on the 2nd and carrying over to the 3rd. That'll be, as Councillor Frederickson said, an amazing opportunity. So, or sorry, was it you? It was you. So grab your flags and enjoy the weekend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Long.
Thank you. Real quick here, on the 16th, I had the pleasure of acting as Master of Ceremonies for the library's 60th anniversary, and I'm happy to say it went seamlessly, flawlessly, and thanks to those of you who showed up. 20th, we had a Clean Energy Technology Centre meeting. The news there you heard this morning that the Chamber of Commerce is moving in. The Drayton Valley Hotel, the hotel group, the hotel, DVHTA, is also moving in. And while I was travelling with Mr. Diol later in the week, we got confirmation that a third group is moving in. I'm not sure that that's public yet, so I won't say. And the only other thing of interest was I was travelling with Mr. Diol to the Alberta Hemp Alliance meeting in Kalmar on Monday. A decision to cancel the proposed barbecue on July 5th. I hope you all got the notification of that. I couldn't line anything up with anybody from the provincial government to go ahead with that, but we are going to try later in the summer. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Dirksen.
I'm not sure if I heard correctly, but did I hear a donut eating contest? That happens to be a specialty of mine, so I may have to stop in. But for actual business, so yeah, the 22nd, we had our Economic Development Committee meeting. A lot of positive things coming out of that, as it always does. Commend administration on the work on the Entrepreneur Toolkit. Took a look at that. I think that'll be a big help for a lot of people looking to start a small business. And again, the Chamber of Commerce did come up in our conversations, and one thing I think when we touch base with them, I'm hoping that we can start seeing a regular appearance from someone from the Chamber of Commerce at our council meetings. I think if they're going to be the voice of local business, they should be involved with the council meetings as well, and getting updates as to what's going on in the community. On Monday, the Eleanor Pickup Arts Centre had their annual general meeting, and past councillor Nicole Nadeau is now the president of that organization. They had a good year last year. I think it could always have been better, but due to the economic situation, I think it was a fairly successful one, and they're ramping up for another big series coming up this September. And I'll be participating in a, well, not participating in, but going to a few of those shows. They have partnered with, the White Bull for a lot of their upcoming events, the ones that are not on Sunday. So if you have a ticket, you can go to the White Bull before the show and get 15% off your meal. So that's something positive. They had a few other questions, regarding the town's involvement in the building and some of the work they want to see done, but I'll bring that up at a later time. Again, also the Aboriginal awareness, I was there, and I'd like to a tip of the hat to the Mayor and Councillor Long and Councillor Frederickson for allowing my son and I to get burgers at the end of the line when someone asked if we wanted them, so we appreciate that. I'm not sure if you guys actually had an opportunity to eat while you were there, so. But no, that is the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm happy to forego a burger for any child. That was a weak attempt at humor, but yeah. Anyway, Councillor Frederickson.
Yeah, as we were talking about this deputy mayor thing, I'm looking at my list of things that I've done in the last few weeks, and it has grown. Next time we send the mayor on a recon mission out of country, we got to look at the rest of the schedule. So I attended the Eagle Point Rapids meeting on behalf of Councillor Dirksen, and so they had their AGM at that time. and I believe the same directors and whatever else are standing, so that's good. They talked a lot about their wetlands rehabilitation project. It's a $300,000 grant that they had gotten from the province that they're doing at rehabilitating some of the lands on the east side of the river in the Blue Rapids Recreation Area. There's also some area of that river as with the large rains and stuff that have sloughed off, so they're working with Alberta Parks and determining which areas could be used for walk-in day picnic areas, and which ones then could be utilized or accessed by ATVs and stuff. So, because that area is kind of it hasn't really been managed over the years. There's a lot of ATV trails that are really not legal, so they're trying to manage that area. I attended the Women in Leadership wrap-up sessions at Frank Maddock High School and at Holy Trinity, put on by Pam Livingston and Jessica Doucette, and it was really great. There was really great insight, and I found that it was interesting. There was a commonality of desires on parts of the adult mentors and the mentees in terms of where we'd like to see the program go. It was a good opportunity to get some feedback from the girls as a whole, where they felt that maybe innovations could be made or more direction could be put, so that was good. I attended a check presentation, and I put down $40,000, I believe it was $40,000, yeah, to Eldorado School from Leduc Co-op. I'm not sure if that's the formal business name, if it's Leduc Co-op, but the co-op group there, to go towards the development of a new nature-based playground at the school area. And basically, this was an application they put in, and it attributed to all of Western Canada. There was around 1,000 applicants, 27 communities ended up getting that they had got their grants. So we had a pretty strong grant, and it was a great opportunity there. I was able to give greetings to the at the 60th anniversary of the library on behalf of the town, and it was really nice. I've been a frequent flyer of the library over my years, and living out of town, when you found that you had things back to back but maybe had a half an hour in between, I'd usually hang my hat at the library and look through the books and stuff. So it was really great to see that they're celebrating the same anniversary that we are. I partook in the Minor Ball fundraiser, where I got to participate in the dunk tank. The dunk tank was warmer than being out because it was windy and cold, and I think I got the best slot there because it ended up being over lunchtime, so everybody ended up taking off for lunch. I got, some people throwing things, but it's 100% success rate. They're allowing the kids to go up and bang the thing if they miss, right? So you're in the water and getting wet regardless. But yeah, that was a pretty, and I didn't realize, like so many people I knew, that their kids were in ball, like, that, have the young kids in ball and stuff. It was, there was a lot of familiar faces, so that was cool. Brazeau Seniors meeting, we went through, the usual things, but there was also a lot of discussion. One of the lobby groups that Brazeau Seniors are part of, the Alberta Seniors and Community Housing Board, has been flirting with a merger with Alberta Continuing Care Association, and it's very polarized. Because right now there are currently healthcare, there's home care that comes into the lodge, but it's not necessarily, it's not a healthcare facility. There's not health care in the lodge. Residents that require home care, they set that up with home care. It's not lodge workers that are implementing or giving, any sort of ongoing things. So it has become polarized because there are some housing that does encourage the healthcare, and there's some that does not. And being that healthcare is such a large voice at the provincial table, there's worry that that would overtake on the housing side. So it was a lot of interesting discussion about that. 60th Anniversary Committee, we had talked about the medallions, which perhaps the mayor would like to talk about a little bit more. Clean Energy Technology Center meeting, and as the chair had mentioned there, and we discussed the joint venture agreement with Northwestern to see that there is movement going in that direction. The IDP discussions, I attended with the mayor and the CAO. And that was it was an interesting meeting. It was different than what I had planned in my head, so it was good. I attended the AMFA conference, which is the Alberta Nonprofit Housing Association. That's another lobbying board for housing with the Brazeau Seniors Board Committee. And actually, it's very much geared towards nonprofit. And it was really good. It was the first conference that they've had. They're a relatively new organization. They had started, I think, 2 years ago, when ASHA had included private organizers in their membership. There were, again, polarization. So those that are not nonprofit, provincially funded, that kind of stuff, they had pulled away and they started their own organization. So this being totally about nonprofit, it really linked back to the assets that we have as the town and, the housing geared to income and the low-income housing that we have. So it was nice to get abroad to see where the province is on that. And recently, the Aquatic Fund Development Committee met. We have approved the final draft of the net zero study, which that will be, we're working with how to bring that forward to councils and working on a presentation from Jacob with Revolve Engineering, as there are some technicalities in that report that would best be served by somebody who's an expert in that field. We had a lot of discussions coming out of that study and where we want to go from there, how we want to move forward with seeking out grants, lobbying provincial and federal government, that kind of stuff with this particular project. And that is my report.
Thank you very much. As has been alluded to, I was away during the last council meeting and from a few days prior to that. To get this out of the way, I want to thank the Deputy Mayor, Frederickson, for doing as she's obligated to do, which is stand in for the mayor, but did so appointing herself very well, and I've heard from various sources represented the town well during my absence, so I appreciate that. And I appreciate the work that all the deputies have put in over the years, because it's, as we've identified earlier in this meeting, it's a different job than it used to be. And you're all doing, you've all done very well. So with that, the reason for my absence, sorry, just prior to that, I was able to deliver the address on behalf of the town at the Frank Maddock High School graduation. Deputy Mayor delivered an address to Holy Trinity Academy, which was, again, well received. And I want to wish all of our graduates from our high schools in Drayton Valley the very best of success in their future endeavors. I was away during June 5th to the 12th on a trade mission organized primarily by out of the Mayor Devon's office, but also in conjunction with Brazeau County, Village of Warburg, and Biocomposites Group and those involved in that company. The purpose of the trip was to explore opportunities in hemp. As we all know, Biocomposites Group uses hemp stock in their industrial processes and uses it to good effect. There's a considerable market for their product. And they see the market growing. Of course, as Councillor Long alluded to, Drayton Valley is part of the Alberta Hemp Alliance, which is essentially an industrial corridor between and including Devon and Drayton Valley, and communities in between, and it includes, of course, Brazeau County. The purpose of the Alberta Hemp Alliance is to help grow industrial hemp opportunities in our region. So part of the the trip involved a 2-day conference on hemp applications and opportunities, during which the elected representatives in attendance were also invited to participate and sit in on business meetings between Biocomposites Group and others. It was a very productive several days, meeting with a number of different business representatives in different fields of endeavor in industrial applications that can and do involve hemp. And the trip culminated in a community called Bergen op Zoom, who has a commercial and cultural exchange already established with the city of Edmonton, and they view our region as equally part of that exchange, so they extended enormous hospitality to us. All in all, my assessment in conversations with the other elected officials, and more particularly with the business representatives who were involved in the trip, they felt there was good value both in making the trip, but also in having their elected representatives with them on the trip. There'll be more to report on that. There'll be every elected official who was on the trip was asked to prepare a report, and so we will be doing that, and they will be synthesized for the membership of the Hemp Alliance as well as Town Council. Following my return on June 12th, June 14th, I was in Okotoks at the AUMA Summer Mayor's Caucus. The intermunicipal collaboration frameworks were the big topic of conversation at the Summer Mayor's Caucus this year, and not surprisingly, there were many questions. One of which is particularly interesting because we've heard both positive and negative responses from the province, but the most recent information regarding the intermunicipal collaboration frameworks, where we are asked to identify a suite of services that are provided to a region and to identify the manner in which we would see it being cost shared between Brazeau County and the town of Drayton Valley in this case. Policing is one of those services we are advised that can be included in the intermunicipal collaboration framework. Of course, these things need agreement, and of course, if there is no agreement, they will go to arbitration. It was interesting, however, that just related to policing, aside from the broader topic of intermunicipal collaboration frameworks, policing and cost sharing and the need for cost sharing was the second most talked about subject at the meeting. So I think that's a bit of a harbinger for what is to come in the next months and couple of years. On the 20th, I was able to attend the 60th Anniversary Committee meeting. I don't attend all of those meetings. I was able to attend this one where there was discussion and identification of what the 4 medallions on the chain of office are to look like. Of course, there was a community contest issued, and there was good participation, and we look forward to finalizing the results of those medallions in the next little while, hopefully for unveiling at the Mayor's Gala in September. The 21st, as Councillor Frederickson indicated, we attended discussion meeting surrounding the, not the future, but the current intermunicipal development plan that we have with Brazeau County. Of course, we received a notice that the county wished to withdraw from the plan. It would seem that there were more areas of symmetry and alignment on the set of issues that were perceived as the stumbling block than initially thought. And so both parties, Brazeau County has some consultation with their landowner to undertake. There'll be further discussions between the two municipalities thereafter, and I'm hopeful at this stage that we can arrive at a resolution. I think it's important to point out, again, for the media hordes in the room, that the grant application that Mr. Fraser alluded to earlier is for the forthcoming intermunicipal development plan that is mandated by the province of Alberta. And that application contemplates an amended IDP, not a new IDP. And so we pointed this out to our neighbors, and that may have helped in the conversation. The application being one for an amended IDP means that if you withdraw from the existing IDP, the application for the grant also fails. That would compromise our ability to participate in any IDP discussions going forward. With that, just one final thing. I too attended the Women in Leadership Wrap-Up session. I wasn't able to attend at Frank Maddock, but I was able to attend at HTA. Thank you, Pam, for your involvement in coordinating the program this year. It's the best iteration, in my judgment, it's the best iteration of the program yet. And there was some very good contributions from mentors and mentees alike. My primary takeaway just generally was that there seemed to be a broad desire to have more in the municipal government rotation, a more group sort of approach where councillors and their mentees could take some time together, and it might be a more sort of collegial and relaxed atmosphere, and it might also lend itself to a better familiarization with all the areas of endeavor that the town is involved with, so a better education for the mentees. So looking forward to that in the next edition of the program. With that, I want to wish everyone a happy Canada Day this Saturday, and we'll move on to 10.0's the information items. 10.1, the Drayton Valley Municipal Library Annual Report and Financial Statements, and the Library Board Report. 10.2, the Yellowhead Regional Library Board meeting notes from March. 10.3 is the North Saskatchewan Headwaters Alliance Steering Committee and Technical Advisory Committee meeting minutes of March, May, August, November of 2016 and April 2017. Kind of packed a lot in here. And the workshop summary of the strategic planning session. 10.4, the Sustainability Committee meeting notes from May. 10.5, the letter from Jean-Louis Dufresne on behalf of the Quebec government regarding the Energy East pipeline. 10.6, the Brazeau Seniors Foundation minutes from April. 10.7, Councillor Long's conference report from the EDA conference. He attended in March, right? 10.8, the RCMP statistics for May 2017. Could I get a motion to receive those as information, please? Councillor Frederickson, all in favor? That is carried. Could I get a motion to adjourn? Councillor Frederickson again, all in favor?